Hey, me again with another addition to the Clapton, Beck, and Page series of videos. This is part 2. It's kind of appropriate that this one's about Eric Clapton primarily, as the last domino besides him, Bobby Whitlock, died this past week. So Eric's the only one left standing. The point of this one was it's hard to get famous once, and even harder to get famous twice. And a few musicians have done it, and then since the 60s, some have gone on 3-4 times. Clapton's done 5 or 6 different lifetimes in his career, starting with a unknown band, the Roosters, going into the Yardbirds, John Mayall's Blues Breakers, Cream, Blind Faith, Delaney and Bonnie, Derek and the Dominoes, and then solo, playing with any number of musicians, including Albert Lee, one of the best guitar players on the planet. He's the first outside guitarist to play on a Beatles record, While My Guitar Gently Weeps. I once did a video here on my favorite guitar solos of all time, and Eric's solo in the Cream song Badge is my #1 favorite. Not that it couldn't be played by anyone else, but he created this thing, and the tone is beyond spectacular. I mean, it's right up there with Phil Keaggy's tone, who I think has the best sound of anybody. It's melodic. It just melts me. That solo, and it comes in for a nice hard landing, just perfect. It's always puzzled me why Eric and Jimmy Page didn't make instrumental albums at all, since they're some of the most popular and skilled and successful guitar players on the planet. Jeff Beck took that ball and ran with it and became mega successful. I could listen to 12 variations of Peaches and Diesel by Eric Clapton all day long. I think that's the only studio recording I have of him playing an instrumental other than just a blues jam. So, Jimmy, Eric, come on, you still got time. Do an instrumental album of guitar pieces. It's been, Jeff did it. Anyway, there's some thoughts on Clapton, and he's had quite a life. I love his Unplugged album, by the way, because I do like some acoustic, and he does have some old acoustic songs. There's a Cream song called Anyone for Tennis. It was the B-side of a single. I think it's ended up as a bonus track on albums now. But he's played a lot of acoustic, even though he's known for his electric. So before the Unplugged album, he'd even done a bit, and that just put him over the top. I think that's an excellent album. Okay, next time maybe Jimmy's the man. Well, rock's about pushing boundaries and breaking barriers, but it happens in other genres too. Can you imagine Paganini's Colleagues when he came along? Back in the classical days. It's not very rock and roll, but rock boundaries have been shaped by looking back. If you look at instrumentation, I think 2 of the best are the orchestrations for It Was a Very Good Year, Frank Sinatra's song in '64, orchestrated by Gordon Jenkins, who won an Emmy for Best Orchestration, and Eleanor Rigby from '66, George Martin. He did not orchestrate She's Leaving Home, but that's a great one. Sticking with the Beatles theme, there's I Am the Walrus, Strawberry Fields Forever, Martha My Dear, all had orchestration, and as did Those Were the Days Paul McCartney produced for Mary Hopkin. I'm a big Burt Bacharach fan, not as much the Dionne Warwick work as with Dusty Springfield, and The Look of Love just gives me chills. Going way back, Nat King Cole in 1948 did the song Nature Boy, one of the weirdest tunes ever written, and it was #1 for 9 weeks. And it's just got gorgeous orchestration, as does Lazy Afternoon, Eartha Kitt's version from the 50s. Haunting. And Route 66 theme from the TV show by Nelson Riddle. That thing just sweeps me away, no pun intended. And Peggy Lee in 1969 did Is That All There Is? Goes back to like German cabaret or something. It's very fascinating. The Mamas and Papas kicked off I Saw Her Again with a powerful violin string introduction. Natalie Merchant has a gorgeous kind of obscure piece from her Ophelia album called Life is Sweet. I'd check that one out. Björk is famous for all the synthesizer work she does, but she also works with real orchestras and symphonies. And Venus as a Boy is one great example. Going way back again to 1966, or 7. The left bank did Pretty Ballerina and Walk Away Renee. They called that, I guess, Baroque rock, and it really worked for them. Danny Elfman has made a whole career out of these songs that are for films, but they could stand alone as their own singles. Great music, and it's all orchestration. And these days you can add your own brass and strings and harpsichord, everything to your demos with just a little Yamaha synthesizer you can get for under $1,000. And you can do a pretty good job. And then when you go into the real studio, you're prepared. You see what doesn't work as well as what does. One of my favorite stories is how the song Ode to Billy Joe had the string orchestration that was so powerful and unique that Sheryl Crow looked up the composer of the orchestration, pulled him out of retirement in his 90s, and got him to do one more song called Riverwide on her Globe Sessions album. Dan Fogelberg has 2 great ones, Netherlands and Sketches, on the same album. And, of course, Brian Wilson did God Only Knows, and then there's Wichita Lineman and MacArthur Park. All great instrumentation, and they were pop hits. One of my favorites and moodiest is Gloomy Sunday. It's been covered 100 times, but my favorite is by Heather Nova. And Sarah McLachlan's a close second, but the orchestration just makes it. So don't ignore these things, make them that you may not like the tone of, but make it your own, and maybe you will like the tone of it, and it'll at least expand your horizons. Oh no, it's sunrise.